the picture up for Josh Allen, and it made it difficult to pass off some of these routes.
That was like my biggest takeaway from the game when it comes to Kansas City's defense. I haven't seen a Spags defense that disconnected, that almost lacking the same wavelength communication-wise, because they got into it so much, and it felt like they were surprised by it.
I don't think they're surprised. I think, and Mina and I talked about this on the way over to the stadium, when you lose L'Jarius Sneed, I feel like you lost your best inside player and communicator in McDuffie, and now he's the outside player. And some of that continuity that you had there, you lose, and that's why you see some of this.
It's legit. When I was talking to Mark, our producer, I said the first game I felt like L'Jarius Sneed was mixed.
That's him. You had some issue with the D-line play as well. Why?
Yeah, just the rushes were so selfish, and y'all know how I get about that. And you got to understand, first of all, situational football when it comes to Josh Allen. These are some examples of what you cannot do against number 17. One, Karlaftis here, he spins inside, but there's no attachment from this defensive line to cover him. Defensive tackle stays in too long. I love the fact that Josh didn't take off. He made a throw and a conscious effort. Look at all of these guys on the edges of their offensive linemen. You listen to any D-line coach, worst place to be, especially against the athletic quarterback. Josh, decisive decision-making, go up, get the yardage. This is the one that drove me insane. We going to pause it here. This is the worst place you can be. One behind the quarterback, three on the same side, everybody on edges, no one in the middle, and it results in a touchdown. Kansas City's defense. Chris Jones played a great game, and it's hard for me to say that because Chris Jones wins on edges and sacks quarterbacks at the highest rate of any tackle. It's hard to come on television and say it was one of those situations where it had to be ultimate communication, and I will play off of you, and I wish they would put him on the outside of the line of scrimmage.
So the two fourth quarter runs, I think, the vintage Josh Allen ones. The third down, because when Josh sees man coverage, that first one we had the green circle, when Josh sees man coverage, he knows the leg that looks to the check down because it's man, it's play. And then Marcus, the 4th and 2 one, I find interesting because Kansas City wins the rep. I mean, they zone it off, and that's a man-beating concept. Is Chris Jones really in the wrong there? Because it's not like you're the closer. Go make a play.
People have eyes on him, behind him. It just didn't matter.
What do you mean?
For me, that's why it's so important to say it's hard for me to say that about Chris. We've seen him close these games out.
Like, you just go and make a play.
In this particular situation, though, that communication has to be everybody play off me. I'm going rogue. We do it all the time here with DeMarcus Ware.
Okay.
Third long, hey, you go to the quarterback, we think you right. And that's, I don't know why the communication didn't happen, but to your point about the back end, they were disjointed at the defensive line as well.
Because right when Josh puts his back foot in the ground, he's gone. Like, he's seen it gone.
Yeah.
I bet we'll see this matchup again maybe a couple more times. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Let's go to the Ravens and the Steelers. This was one that we had should be super interesting. It turns out it was just Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson getting ready to go. We're going to go to the fourth quarter. The Ravens trailing 15-10. Jackson's pass intended for Justice Hill, Peyton Wilson rips the ball loose.
Peyton Wilson, who's actually a genetic freak, makes the play on this football. He gets his hand and he fights it all the way down to the ground. That's a huge play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So the Steelers trying to capitalize. Wilson pitching it to Jalen Warren. He picks up the first down. So the Steelers now in field goal range. A few plays later, Chris Boswell nails the kick down the middle. Steelers now leading 18-10. Under 2 minutes to play. Jackson finds Hill on the screen pass here. He picks up 22 on the play.
This is Lamar making a play. It's 3rd and long. Justice Hill leaks out. Lamar hangs enough time. And that was like one of the first big plays that he was able to generate.
Making the comeback here, and it's all on the line.
That's
Ravens
his best play of the day right there.
Connecting there. Zay Flowers for the touchdown. They trail now just 18-16. So they're lining up for the 2-point attempt. And Jackson gets the snap, rolls to the left. He's got no one, tosses it, and then he's pulled down. Steelers end up winning this one 18-16.
I can think of 77 plays I'd call before I called that one. Great cracker place by Joey Porter Jr.
Sunday was the second time the Steelers won this season with not scoring a touchdown. The other coming in week 1 against the Falcons. Pittsburgh 2-0 this season, being held without a touchdown. The rest of the NFL 2-19 in such games.
Crazy.
RC, I know. Sometimes
y'all think Derrick Henry should have been in on that 2-point play?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That could have been one of those like 57 other plays that you would.
77.
Yeah,
77.
He got a whole book of
77.
them.
No touchdowns, but Russ is able to pull it out. What did you like about the offense, RC?
Well, what I hated was obviously the interception in the end zone to
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey. Russ has to be better than that. But I thought the physicality in which the offense played with was encouraging. I thought Najee Harris ran the ball with a reckless abandon and intention to be physically violent when he got to the point of attack. And I think that set the tone for the entire day. And we've seen this team, you just read the stat, Lord, 2 games, they haven't scored touchdowns,
Crazy.
but they've been able to win. And I think it's about style of play. They knew defensively they had a great plan for Lamar Jackson, but I feel like it was also about limiting his possessions. And if you can get a Najee Harris going, it gave them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the offense can be a good defense there. How specifically did the defense keep Lamar in check?
Well, I think you saw the difference philosophy defensive-wise. Like Baltimore was very clear. They were not going to give the big ball down the field. They played off. Sometimes they would play with those 2 safeties. Pittsburgh almost dared Baltimore. We dare you to throw the ball every play. We're going to play man coverage. We're going to line up. And I think they did an unbelievable job of that rush, almost opposite of Kansas City. Like no one getting behind Lamar. Everybody staying in front and plastering. Like the discipline that you have to have, I would imagine, defensively, of not going to after Lamar when he breaks outside of that pocket and trusting that this is my favorite rep of the game. Watch how the people on the back end, that second, go after and stop. Like, no, wait. And not allowing Lamar to kind of put him or those defenders in that conflict of going after him.
I know Mina wants to talk. This reminded me so much of the Kansas City game, though.
And the
3rd and 11 you showed the first time. Take off, Lamar.
multiple times.
Multiple times he had chances
point.
to take off because they were saying we are not going to come out of coverage because we've seen you burn people this year. Josh Allen, when he stuck his foot in the ground, he said, I'm going to be the best athlete on the field.
Why does it get to that
Lamar
point?
Jackson, go be the best athlete on the field. It's when he plays his biggest team rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his biggest individual rival, Patrick Mahomes, that he stops being Lamar Jackson.
It reminded me so much in the Chiefs game, too, in which you watch and you feel like he's hunting big plays downfield. And there's this kind of continuity. Now, I will say some of that was obviously because of down and distance, because the Steelers are really good on early downs. And some of it is what you alluded to, which is the coverage. You know, going into this game, I remember last week against Washington when Pittsburgh played them, I said this defense is very good against scrambling quarterbacks. They are disciplined with their rush lane. However, my concern this week was, okay, when Lamar holds onto the ball and extends, don't get grabby downfield. Playing man coverage, Joey Porter Jr., you've been fantastic this year. But if you get grabby, then you're going to get some bad calls. You're going to pay for it. He was 1 for 6 when he held onto the ball for more than 4 seconds. That's a coverage stat to me. I was so impressed with this secondary. Joey Porter Jr., one of the best young man corners in football. I think there are sort of almost we talk so much about the Steelers front that we forget a lot of what they're doing up front is making that coverage on the back end.
I love that they tie it together. To me, this was missed opportunities. I give the Steelers all the credit in the world. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens and the plays that were out there, y'all made mention of Lamar using his legs. I got a 3-play sequence that they get no points that should have been 2 touchdowns before a field goal was missed. This Deontay Johnson throw, this should have been a touchdown. Look at Zay Flowers coming out of the slot. This is a win. This is a win in the NFL. That's supposed to be a touchdown. And then Tuck misses a field goal.
He's broken.
This situation for me, when you talk about a 2-point game, and you miss 3 opportunities and you get 0 points out of it, matters.
But that was Pittsburgh lining up almost on a play-by-play basis and saying, we can cover you.
Dan, they didn't have them covered. You got
Those
one
are tough throws, though, Marcus. Like you're saying you got to make a perfect throw.
If we don't exploit about you being the MVP of the league, and we talk about being explosive in Super Bowl contenders, those are the plays you got to make. I think that Zay Flowers throw, Lamar makes that 8 out of 10 times. That was 2 of them that you just didn't make. But the sequence itself, where you get 0 points out of it, the opportunities to make plays, I think hindered them.
2 called quarterback runs, both were explosive runs. We only called 2. That's the problem.
Gotta call more. Hey, we're going to talk about this game a little bit more later on the show. A reminder, we're with you until 5 p.m. Let's get Adam Schefter in here for some top stories. Adam, the Jags lost 52-6 to the Lions yesterday. What are you hearing about potential changes there?
It was the worst loss in franchise history. And so far today, it has been business as usual. Doug Peterson met with members of the media, said that Gabe Davis, the wide receiver, is out for the season, and carried on a press conference as if he would continue coaching the team. But everybody believes changes in the air. The Jaguars are on their bye week. It's just that nothing has transpired as of right now. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions lost yet another defensive stalwart yesterday. Alexander Loney broke his forearm. Only been 6 to 8 weeks, which means essentially he's done for the remainder of the regular season, and the Lions will hopefully get him back for the postseason. We already know they're without Marcus Davenport, they're without Aiden Hutchinson, now they're without Alexander Loney. New York Giants benched Daniel Jones and inserted Tommy DeVito into the starting lineup, bypassing Drew Lock, who now becomes the number 2 quarterback behind DeVito, which means that Daniel Jones is now the number 3 quarterback in New York. The Giants clearly do not want to expose him when he's got a $23 million injury guarantee due after the season for a quarterback who's had knee issues, neck issues. They do not want him out there on the field. By putting him on the bench now and making him the number 3 quarterback, they essentially are ending his time in New York. Unofficially, it is time for Tommy Chicken Cutlet DeVito to make his Giants start this season against Tampa on Sunday at MetLife Stadium.
I don't know how to get cutlets in there. More news from Adam throughout the show. Dan, just what's your reaction?
All these injuries and issues. What about I can't play quarterback issue?
Well, so
That's the one that got him.
that's the
benched.
one that probably affected this decision.
Bam!
He was
Dan, I mean, they're done with him now, right?
Of course, yeah. I think the biggest question for the Giants from this moment moving forward is who do we want overseeing Malik Neighbors' career? Malik Neighbors is a star. So is it going to be Brian Dable and Joe Shane? And if it's going to be them, they've got to find a quarterback to maximize Neighbors over the next couple of years. Because I'm telling everybody, Neighbors has got ability to have an impact on games like Jamar Chase, and I know that is very, very big praise of Justin Jefferson.
He does.
So
He does,
that's
though.
the biggest thing for that organization moving forward.
Be interesting to see the draft. The draft not as strong of a quarterback draft potentially this year as it was last year, and that may affect their decision making as well. We're just getting started on NFL Live. So much more coming your way live from AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys season has been a disaster. It could get even worse tonight. We had a live report from Lisa Salters ahead of this Monday night matchup. Everything you need to know about the Cowboys and some of the injury issues they're having as well. Plus, Anthony Richardson led the Colts to a big win over the Jets on Sunday. Dan explains why his performance could be a turning point for the young quarterback's career. NFL Live is brought to you by the Hulu original series Interior Chinatown. Premieres tomorrow, streaming on Hulu. And by Formula One. Watch the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix Saturday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. More from Arlington after this. We'll be right back.
Consumer Cellular is lowering the price.
His time in New York. Unofficially, it is time for Tommy Chicken Cutlets DeVito to make his Giants start this season against Tampa on Sunday at MetLife Stadium.
Adam, I'm glad you got
and Joe Shane. And if it's going to be